Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below this video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Now, while there is a link out from the last live debate that did go out on Nathan Oakley channel, this is actually a closed show, so you can't join the debate. However, there are a full panel of people here who I'll introduce now. So we are joined by Wiggles, Slick James Johnson, Physics Warrior, Paul, My Warped Mind, Flatten Earth, Ibon Kim, Chocolate Sane, Arwin, and Quantum Eraser. Very good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Morning.
G'day.
Hello, hello. Can you hear us, John?
Yeah, I just got back. Do you got a whole other hour show? And,
Yeah, it's going to be a full show.
show.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Yeah, good.
May as well kick off with a few housekeeping questions. We've got a few ballers on the panel. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Nope.
Oh yes, but
Nope.
Lay it on us. Who was that said yes? Was that you, Wiggles?
yeah, that was me. Just how many other people here are ballers?
Well,
I play basketball. I'm pretty good at it.
Okay, but you know, like actually, like people who think the Earth is round.
Paul.
So it's just just Paul, or
I think so.
We all thought the Earth was round.
what?
We all thought the Earth was round at one point.
Round like
Yeah, I know what happened. You were you're doing so well, and then you fell off the wagon.
Well, the Earth could be round.
Yeah,
You got to be real careful with
That
that.
happens when you become a
So,
free soul.
Spherical is the word.
We
Because-
found discernment.
Because a pizza is a flat and round, right? LPs are flat and round, so be specific. Spherical.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I asked.
It's like I don't know the well actually yeah I had a question for Nathan because like Nathan, I think you had like a video where you kind of what was it, you went to like a floor or something. It's like one of the videos on like your main channel, and you kind of bring the camera down close to the floor, and like you got a book over far away. It's like in some like tennis room or something, and the book disappears.
Sure.
Yeah, that kind of that what you did there is you showed the floor isn't flat, so you proved that the floor has curvature.
Why would it prove that?
Well, isn't that obvious?
No. Would you like to know why it's not obvious?
Well, if you got a flat surface, like the light is gonna I just have a very short flat surface, like a desk, then if I put something on my desk and I'm looking at it from above the desk, I can see the object, right? That's like just simple. Like,
What about
like
what about the other 2 dozen examples of people doing the same thing?
Yeah, they're just proving the surface isn't flat.
So in every single instance, it's always caused by a curved surface, in your opinion?
Well, every short distance, yeah, because I know light bends a little bit, which is kind of annoying. Oh, I know, but for short distances, sure. Like that's how you tell if a piece of wood is like if a plank of wood is bent or not. You kind of just like look down, like you kind of get it close to your eye, like you're holding like a rifle or something, and just like look down and you can see a curve or not, right? That's how you test a piece of wood to see if it's curved or not.
Well, no. As the camera lowers, the bottom part of the cupboards, for example, in that video, reduce in size and then also disappear.
But you could still see the whole bottoms of the cupboards.
No, you can't. The gap closes in that video. Maybe you should pay more attention to the video. So it's not just the floor and the thing on the floor, i.e. the book, that does it. It's things in that limited angle that do it, Wiggles. not just the
Okay,
book.
well, I mean, you could apply that argument to a sphere, and the argument breaks down. But that's
Why would I? When I've got a flat floor that's people are playing table tennis on. That
sorry. I mean, I wasn't very clear. I mean, like, if the book was like a basketball or something, then your argument really wouldn't work.
Book was a basketball, it'd be a much bigger item, wouldn't it? It only works because the book is very thin and therefore sits nicely in that very limited angle that occurs when you reduce your height closer to the floor.
Well, the top of the book, it fits in that. Like, you can't see the top of the book when you lower the camera, but that's just obvious. But
Obvious
like,
because
if
of
the
what?
floor were perfectly flat, you'd be able to see the book.
Yeah. So what you're saying is the floor is higher than the lens on my camera phone with the case on it. So approximately 1.5 centimeters off the ground. And what you're saying is between me and the other end of that hall, there is a raising of the floor to the tune of 1.5 centimeters. A health risk, really. You could trip over it, but that's what you're alleging. There's a 1.5 centimeter obstruction between me and the floor. Let's just say for a second, Wiggles, that I accept what you're saying is correct. That there's actually an uneven floor causing an obstruction. Is water, is that perfectly flat? Or does it also have undulations that potentially, by virtue of perspective, could do the exact same thing on a massive distance? I.e., you look at something in the distance over water, and the very slight undulation in the water causes the bottom of the thing in the distance to be obscured.
Well, yeah, that's obviously, yes, possible. So that's why when you're like doing those long distance viewing experiments, you got to lift your camera like 2 or 3 meters above sea level just to get above the waves and all that, so you can ignore that stuff.
Oh, no, you didn't listen to the full explanation. So perspective, you see how this water in my picture now, you see how this water in the near foreground looks like it's low, bottom of the frame, whereas this part of the water looks like it's high, middle of the frame. Well, in reality, it's just flat. I mean, obviously, it's flowing to a certain extent. My point being is that it's not at a 45-degree angle between the bottom of frame and mid-frame. That's obviously nonsense, isn't it? It's not at that angle, is it, Wiggles? That's a perspective effect that we're observing. Would you not agree?
Well, what you're talking about there, Nathan, it doesn't really make sense because you're talking about measuring an angle like going away from you, but you have a flat picture, so there's no angle there to speak of.
Yeah, I'm describing
you just got like
it to
a flat
you.
sheet of paper there.
Yeah, I'm describing that from the midpoint of this picture where my mouse is now and the bottom, there is an angle that seems like it's tilted towards your feet. So if I had my feet in this little shallow bit of water, it would look like the water's cascading down from the middle of the frame to my feet. Of course it isn't. That's just perspective. My point being that if this water extended all the way to the horizon, you'd only have to have a very small undulation in the water to obscure something that's even further in the distance by virtue of perspective. Because obviously the thing that's at the floor of this particular image, if there's a wave there, it's not going to affect you at all. But if it's further into the distance, closer to the midpoint by way of perspective, then it would potentially obscure your thing in the background. Perspective's a really crazy thing, you know? Amazing. If you ever took it into consideration, you might understand it, this perspective thing, Wiggles.
Well, I don't know, I just think you should like rename your perspective effect to something else. Like,
it's not an effect,
if you're going to
it's
say
reality.
That,
it's not an effect, it's just reality. It's how we see things. It's just optics. It's how everything you see every time you open your eyes. Who's making a load of noise on their mic? Can you mute if you're not talking, please? Yeah, who's that? So, it's just perspective, Wiggles. The water's not flowing down towards me. It's rising up to the midpoint of the camera, which means that a small undulation in the water could disturb something that's further in the distance.
Yeah, of course. So that's why you lift your camera up above the height of the undulations.
Yeah,
and then you don't got to worry about those undulations.
But that's my point. By way of perspective, if this water extends out further, it comes higher in the frame of the picture by way of perspective. Well, the thing that was above the height at the ground level that you're at, let's say this camera's at 6 feet for the sake of argument above the water, well, it's still at the midpoint of the camera when he looks out across the river. The same applies with a massive body. When you look out over a huge body of water, the actual perspective brings the water you're seeing up to your eye line, the horizon.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was going to just want to move on because I don't got very much time. But actually, I just thought of one point to make. Couldn't we just imagine above the ocean, just maybe a couple meters above it, just like a perfectly ideal flat surface around it? Couldn't we just imagine that, and then we could think about that surface instead of the surface of the ocean? We could just think of an idealized flat surface above the ocean,
like a desert, like the Nevada desert, for example.
No, not like a desert.
Oh,
like we imagine a flat plane, or you guys think the Earth is flat, so I'll just talk about it in flat Earth perspective.
Well, why can't we just use an actually officially admitted flat surface, like these places?
Right, we don't need imagination.
I think you're still going to see obstruction.
Or that is so like or something.
Yeah. I mean, just if we want to get away from talking about all these undulations, we just imagine a flat plane, like you guys think the Earth is flat, so I'll talk in your guys' language.
What are you talking about?
You just imagine.
What are you talking about? You brought it up. You said my floor that I lowered my camera on was obviously curved because there was an obstruction. Yeah. Right. Well, exactly, no, I've just taken a very long time explaining that perspective brings things up to the midpoint of the camera. And when you have a limited angle at the bottom of things, you can have a very small undulation, having conceded that the floor's not completely flat, obscure something in the background. Sod all to do with Earth curve and everything to do with perspective. In the same way, over a body of water that rises up to the midpoint of your camera, that very small undulation in the distance can still obscure something behind it, even though it's not right by your feet, because perspective brings it up to the midpoint of the camera. You brought this up, Wiggles. So what, moving past your crushing defeat, you mean?
Oh, I don't think this is a crushing defeat.
Yeah,
I think it's
you think you can see forever. You are locked in to Muppet vision, where you think there are straight lines across a page. Every time you bring up your curve calculator, you have the side slice of how we see. You are in orthographic view where you see forever. That's what you think happens. And when I detail how perspective works, something that is entirely ignored in your calculations, Wiggles, you go, oh, let's move past this. Crushing
I'm still, I don't know, this isn't, I was always waiting, like, Nathan, you do it yourself then. I'll help you out if you want. Like, me and you can make a perspective accounting.
How arrogant do you think you are? What do you think I need help with from you? A sub 100 IQ retard. You think I need your help? Do you arrogant twat?
Yeah. Have you made one of these calculators that accounts for perspective?
Excuse me, what for?
Yeah, like, have you made one? Yeah.
What for?
Just because I think the whole thing is bullshit. So
sorry, I'm not claiming that perspective is real. It is! You dumbass! There it is on screen and every time you open your bloody eyes. So I don't need to prove perspective with a calculator. You, burden of proof reversal fallacy using asshole, have a calculator that assumes R and only uses a side elevation, Muppet vision. So you think you can see forever in straight lines because you never account for perspective. And when I say you don't, you say, well, have you ever made a calculator for it? What for? I'm not claiming the Earth's curved with a calculator. You are!
Just make a calculator so that I can see
what
how your
for?
calculators work. Right? Like
are you deaf? What for?
Just to prove me wrong. Like,
to prove perspective's real? Are you a total retard? Do you think perspective isn't real? And I need to prove it to you with some maths? Are you a dick? Perspective's real, Wiggles, you complete bonehead. Do you think I need to prove it to you with maths?
Like, there's a word...
Answer me, dickhead. Do you think I need to prove perspective is real with maths?
Look, I know that a 3D object changes.
Do you think I need to prove perspective's real with maths? You're not answering me, you bonehead. Do you think I need to prove perspective is real with maths or not?
Well, I know perspective is real.
Right, so let's not worry about me proving it with maths, you stupid idiot. Yeah, you have got maths for your bullshit curve, right? And your maths excludes perspective. So let's not worry about proving whether or not perspective's real. You ignore it!
Well, perspective is a real thing, like you're
Right, so why the hell do you ignore it in geometric calculations, Wiggles?
Like, this cube changes.
Answer me!
Depending on how you look at it. That's all perspective is.
Answer me! Why do you ignore it? If it's real, I don't need to prove it with you with maths. Why is it ignored in your geometric calculations of what we should see false? We don't see in geometric calculations. We see in perspective. I don't have to bloody prove it. You have to demonstrate to me why you ignore it.
I wonder is like the angry yelling person or the calm collected person the one who's right?
Answer my question. Tell you what, I'll ask it nice and
I
calm.
wouldn't
For
say you're
Wiggles,
calm
shut up.
collected, man. I
Shut up.
think you're more
Shut
arrogant than
up. I'll ask it nice and calm and polite for Wiggles. Wiggles, why is it that you have a geometric calculator that absolutely and unequivocally ignores perspective and diffraction limits when you compare them to optical representations of our world that do include the diffraction limit and perspective? Please, can you answer that for me, Wiggles? With sugar on top.
Okay, I will attempt to answer. It's not going to be exactly the answer you want, but if I need to account for perspective and like angular resolution and all that in a calculator, well, I don't, because it's a geometric calculation. So
sorry, that's missing the point of my question. Why are you using a geometric calculation and comparing it to things that do include perspective? Don't tell me that it's not included because it's geometric. That's not an answer. That's saying, because it's geometric, it doesn't include them. That's the problem that I'm asking you to justify, not just tell me that it doesn't include them. I know it doesn't include perspective, and I'm asking why you would apply something that doesn't include the very nature of reality when comparing it to reality, Wiggles.
Yeah, so like I'll just ask my question maybe. Like I got this Rubik's Cube here. It's like, I don't know, say it's like 3 centimeters tall. Right? Is it? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so now how tall is it?
Sorry, its angular size has changed radically.
It has,
Oh
yes.
my
How
God.
tall is it, though?
Sorry, you didn't answer my rebuttal. Its angular size has changed, hasn't it, Wiggles? You're now talking over me. Are you going to address what I have stated? You have changed the angular size of it, have you not?
Oh, I have, yeah, but how tall is it? Right? How tall is the cube right here?
In angular size?
No, in height.
Sorry, in angular size, that's how we see
No,
it. It's
in height.
I'm trying to answer you, but you keep
height?
talking, Wiggles. In the frame of my picture, it takes up 50% of the frame. Now move it back.
Yeah, so it takes
now
up
it
like
doesn't
10%,
take up 50% of the frame anymore, Wiggles.
How high?
So
it's 3
listen,
centimeters
Wiggles,
right
Wiggles. The centimeter size makes soddle difference to how much of the frame it takes up of my picture.
Makes all the difference in the
You're still
world if I'm
talking,
asking
Wiggles.
you
I'm
what's
trying
the
to
height
answer your
of the
stupid
cube.
question that is about geometry when the physical
rat-faced
size of
retard.
it on screen
I
has
just,
changed. You're not listening, Wiggles. You're just talking over me.
This is like my reaction when I'm talking. I can't.
It's
Like,
good.
oh, sorry, I can't.
Well, why don't you try and listen to my answer? When it was close to the screen, it takes up 50% of the frame of the picture. When you move it further back, it takes up considerably less of the picture. And if you moved it even further back, it could disappear entirely.
Yes.
Well, that's not accounted for in your geometric calculator. Even if you
But
move
I'll
it
tell you
10,000... Shut up! Even if you move it 10,000 miles away, it is still 3 centimeters, isn't it, Wiggles? So according to a geometric calculator, it would never, ever disappear, would it, Wiggles? It would always be 3 centimeters, wouldn't it?
Well, we're just calculating the height.
No, we're not!
Regardless.
No,
of
Wiggles,
look at
we're not.
Wow.
We're looking at pictures that account for things based on their angular size. So let's give you an example, Wiggles. It's on screen. This tree in the near foreground takes up, like your Rubik's Cube when it was close, 50% of the frame. Yet this tree on the other side of the river, further in the distance, is tiny. And if I push it even further away to this mountain, you can't even distinguish the trees. So absolutely everything to do with angular size, something that's ignored while he talks again like a wanker that's being battered, yeah, is my raising my voice irritating to you, cheesy little twat? Look at his cheesy little face. While I point out that his Rubik's Cube in a geometric calculator would never disappear. You'd see it forever. Whereas in an optical calculator that accounts for angular size, things disappear with distance. So when you have his little boats disappearing in his geometric calculator, there he goes again, cheesy wanker being battered by his own stupid religious belief.
Am I getting deep fried too, Nathan?
Yeah, you're getting absolutely obliterated, you cheesy little monkey. You cheesy monkey that thinks your Rubik's Cube can be seen forever. Do you think you can see a Rubik's Cube forever? Because in geometry you can.
Nathan, so my question
is
very simple.
Answer me.
Very simple.
Answer me. Do you think... Answer me, you stupid prick. Answer my question.
Okay,
answer my question.
Yeah, with your bare
answer
eyes
my question. Stop talking and answer. When I finish, I want an answer, Wiggles. Do you think you can see your Rubik's Cube forever because it always remains the same centimeter size?
No. Once the angular resolution of the angular size of the cube goes below 0.0003 rads, then you can't see it anymore with the naked eye.
Show me where that is in your calculator.
It doesn't need to be in the calculator.
It is. It's like, what happens in reality, Wiggles. Why are you still talking?
And I'll explain why it doesn't
Stop talking and let me reply.
You won't shut up.
Stop talking and let me reply. That's what happens in reality, Wiggles. Things disappear with distance, and you're saying, I don't account for it.
Oh, here, Nathan, this is all I'm doing, right? Like, how high is this cube here? Like, we got 3 cubes. It's really easy. 1, 2, 3 centimeters high, right?
Will it still be that size at 10,000 miles away?
I don't know. What do you think?
Answer my question. You've just said it's 3 centimeters. Answer my question. Yeah. Will it still be that size at 10,000 miles away?
I'm asking you. I want to ask you that.
Why don't you just answer my fucking question, you prick?
Okay, well,
smile for me, cheese boy, while I batter you. Is it still 3 centimeters?
So, like, yes, it will still be 3 centimeters high, no matter where it is on Earth.
Right. Can you still see it at 10,000 miles away, you fucking retard?
I'm not... Like, my
answer my question.
Calculator.
Answer my question. You answered the first question. It's still 3 centimeters at 10,000 miles. Can you see it, you smiling cheesy monkey? Yeah, you smile for me, you cheesy bastard, while I obliterate your religious belief in geometry. Yeah, in your geometry, you can see forever. Because it's always 3 centimeters, but that it completely ignores the fact that things disappear with distance. You getting it yet, you cheesy little shit?
I only got like a couple minutes left before the other
show. Tell us again how it's 3 centimeters always, you stupid bonehead, and then ignore that it disappears at 10,000 miles, but it's still 3 centimeters. Just ignore it and smile. You're going to ignore it?
We've got salt lakes over here in Australia that are, 20 kilometers long. Okay, and they're dead flat. They do speed racing on these things.
Yeah,
so if you started, man, they're flat. If you had that Rubik's Cube and then you went to the other end of this salt lake, you would not see it.
Yeah,
I know. It would still be 3 centimeters at the other end, but you wouldn't see it.
Yeah, I know. Because
so where's that in your calculator? So where is that in your calculator, Wiggles? If that's a fact that happens when you look at things, why isn't it in your calculator? Why isn't perspective included?
So, Nathan, I think by now it's quite obvious that you have no intention of listening to the reason why I don't need to do any accounting for perspective when I'm just calculating the height of an object.
Yeah, but the height doesn't include the fact that it disappears with distance, and you're going to be looking at distant objects and comparing them to your geometry.
I'm calculating the height of an
clumsily
object,
confusing
right?
actual size and angular size. That's all this is.
Yeah,
For
when I
crying
asked
out
that's all
loud,
it is.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're using actual size for your geometry calculator, and in an actual size calculator, you can see your Rubik's Cube at 10,000 miles, which is utter nonsense. We can't see forever, but you, having removed perspective from your calculator, will now try and justify why perspective isn't needed. Because you can see it at 3 centimeters, it's 3 centimeters at a mile, it's 3 centimeters at 10 miles, and when I get to this devastating point, the cheesy little fucker just talks all over me and laughs.
Well, to be honest, I talk over you about maybe 10% of the time. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so you don't account for the angular size and the fact that it disappears with distance, do you?
Like, I gotta go in like a few seconds, so like I just wanted to have some more fun.
That's too bad.
So Nathan, I came up with a question.
You just have fun, man, and stuff.
Yeah, he won't actually concede. Right, he's been taken to pieces. He's laughed his head off at the devastating point that he doesn't account for the very nature of reality, that things get smaller with distance. It's always 3 centimeters in his geometry calculator. He just ignores perspective and laughs in our faces, and he wonders why I get enraged by him, the cheesy little prick. What you need, is to get yourself an education. You need an education. You're dumb. All you do is listen to priests and parrot them. And when someone comes up with something contradictory, you smile. You don't acknowledge it because you're too dumb.
Nathan, you don't know logic very well.
Logic isn't optics. We're not talking logic. We're talking about the nature of reality, and perspective is included in what we see and what pictures you compare to a calculator that doesn't have anything to do with reality. But you'll compare it without perspective all day long, won't you, Wiggles? And just tell us how it's not needed. Because the 3 centimeter Rubik's Cube is 3 centimeters regardless of how fucking far it is. At 10,000 miles? Oh no, it's still 3 centimeters. Let's calculate how much Earth curve means it's not being seen anymore. That's what you do, you stupid prick. You're just a wanker with a calculator that excludes perspective. And all you'll try and do is justify your complete removal of perspective and laugh when I point out that that is an effect of life, that it does happen in every picture. It can obscure things from the bottom up, but no, geometry and Earth curve, that's the only cause. Let's ignore perspective.
Wiggles.
So, like,
how about if I... Can I jump in for a sec?
Probably not. Maybe later. I only have like a few minutes. I wanted to get to this point.
I'll be really quick. I'll go and buy a Rubik's Cube. I've got a P900. I've got all these cameras, man, with high-powered zooms. I'll go out to a flat area. I'll get you a Rubik's Cube exactly like that. I'll go to a flat area that I know is dead flat, and I will go out. I'll measure it, and then we won't be able to see it, and then I'll zoom in. You want me to do something like that? Will that help out?
Yeah, so that just means it didn't go beyond your horizon if you can still see it.
Well, then how far do you want me to take it out?
What I want you to do, and this, okay, look, I'll just be perfectly clear. I say this a lot. Okay, so over, like, I have this experiment I do where
what is the minimum for your curve? What is the minimum?
You didn't do an experiment.
I need to go.
Well, you can use the curve calculator to figure it out. You got to go like a little bit farther than what the calculator tells you because light bends.
Tell me what that distance is. Tell me a distance that would.
I'll do one better. I'll give you like just use a calculator and figure it out yourself, and then like show like I'll be able to run whatever numbers you give.
Yeah, but I'm doing this.
Will they include perspective?
Wiggles,
you can do just before you go, you've only got a minute. I just want to ask you one last question. Wiggles, I've just got one last question for you, Wiggles. Wiggles, you've only got a minute. Can I get a question in?
2 kilometers. What do you want?
You just use the calculator to figure it out.
Guys,
okay, man.
Wiggles, I've got one last question. Why doesn't your calculator include perspective?
Go this one again. Nathan, make a calculator that accounts for perspective and just show it to me. Just show me what the hell this thing would be, right?
That's not an answer to his question.
My question again. Why doesn't your calculator include perspective?
I've answered it a million times. You already know what I'm going to say. Is it doesn't need to because it's a 3D geometric calculation. Well, 2D, but whatever.
He's absolutely right.
Do we see without perspective? And do photographs come without perspective?
Like, I tried to, like
Say
it's
it.
very clear, Nathan, that you don't want to go through a line of reasoning that would show you
Come
why
on,
I don't
say
need
it.
to account
This is
for
simple
perspective.
reasoning.
I
You
thought
have a
you said
geometric
you knew
calculator
logic.
that you compare to photographs that have perspective, but the geometric calculation doesn't account for perspective. That's
Yeah, okay,
reasoning.
so
You tell
create
me
a
the
like
reasoning
there's
behind
nothing
that.
stopping you guys. Nothing stopping you guys whatsoever.
What the heck are you
Create
talking
a
about?
Sorry,
calculator
Wiggles, we
that
covered this.
uses
Sorry, Wiggles,
perspective
it's like
in
you're
the
ignoring me.
calculation.
It's rude.
Right.
We covered
What?
this. We already understand, and you've conceded that perspective is real and things disappear with distance. You've conceded that. I don't need to prove that to you. So I'll ask again, why are you using a calculator that excludes perspective when you compare to pictures that include perspective?
Because it's not relevant.
No,
Sorry,
everything
let's
I
cut
know.
this guy out.
So the reason that I don't account for perspective is simple. I'm calculating the height of the object.
You're calculating angular size. That's perspective.
No, I'm not. I'm calculating fucking height.
So why are you not calculating perspective?
Because I'm calculating height.
So perspective's just not needed.
I'm not doing anything to do with perspective. I'm calculating the height of an object.
Why are you not doing anything in the calculation to do with perspective?
Because I'm not interested in perspective. I'm interested in the height of an object.
So the calculation's not interested in perspective, even though perspective is included in the pictures.
Yeah.
You could, if you could calculate the angular size of that object. Go ahead. I'm not stopping you, but I'm saying what my calculation is for the calculation of a height of an object.
But that doesn't
You're
include the angular size.
90% of the point.
I know.
So what would you say to someone like Rory, who is claiming that the calculator does include perspective? What would you say to him, Wiggles?
Then I would just say I didn't put any calculations that involve like decreasing of angular size in my calculation.
Oh, what about other calculators? Do they include perspective?
Not ones that calculate the height of an object.
That's all of them.
Okay, well then they don't, like, I'm starting to use your language now, Nathan. Your language is misleading.
Wiggles.
you almost said it.
Perspective is a real life thing.
Sorry,
why
chocolate,
is it not in the calculator?
Chocolate.
Okay, I'll explain what's not in the calculator.
Bear with me.
What is the height?
Oh my
what
God.
Is the height of...
Chocolate, thank you so much. Wiggles. So the calculator and the calculations that are available only calculate height and do not calculate perspective.
Yes, you got it. Finally. Hallelujah.
So
Nathan
just say it
made
back to me
progress.
so I understand in your words, Wiggles.
Okay. I calculate the height of an object.
And in regards
I'm
to
doing.
perspective, sorry, and the calculations, which yours is the same as all of them, they do include perspective?
Well, no, they don't, I guess. Then.
So just say it as a full sentence, a statement.
This is when I wonder, like, where's Nathan going with this? What's his? Is he going to quote me later and misquote me or
No.
something?
This is nothing. So it's not a got you for you, so you feel more at ease. This is nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Someone else, but I just want you to make the statement in regards to whether or not the calculations for a sphere Earth, these geometric only calculations, do or do not include perspective.
Well, when you say includes perspective, I'm just quoting it. Like, what the hell does, like, well, I'm going to ask you what that means. I'm going to get a bunch of bullshit. So I'd just be happy to move on from this point.
No, I know you are, but it's like I say, Wiggles, don't feel like I'm trying to tie you down while the
I would
other
like
panel
to
really
wiggle
try
out
and
of this
ruin
point
this
and
point.
wiggle into a different point. If that
Yeah,
would be
sure,
okay.
but I just want a concise statement from you. Your calculation and the other calculations that are available that are the same as yours. First, would you agree that that is absolutely the case? They're all the same. They're all geometric.
Well, basically, there might be slight differences in them. Like,
but is one
some
of
of them
those
use
slight,
like a radius value of 7/6 times.
Sure.
Yeah.
But is one of those differences the inclusion of the diffraction limit or angular size limit or Rayleigh criterion or any aspect of perspective? Are they included or not?
See, if I say they're not included, you're just going to go prance on your merry way and say, "Oh, I've made a point." Like, so that's why, like,
There's a supplementary point, but I need
and then you're going to be prancing
There's a
off.
supplementary
and it's
point,
gonna be another 5
Wiggles.
minutes until you shut up again.
Wiggles, there's a supplementary. Oh God, Arwin really needs to ruin this, doesn't he? Yeah, thanks, Arwin. I'm nearly there with him. I'm so close. Thank you. So, Wiggles, there's a supplementary point. I just need a concise statement from you to the effect of whether or not the curve calculators include perspective or not. If you can make a concise statement, I can move on to my supplementary.
They don't, I guess, then. Sure, let's say that.
So, a full statement. What don't?
Okay, I'll give a full, like, if you want me to give a full statement, I've got to give a full sensible statement. And that is that Earth curve calculators that calculate the height of an obstruction of a distant object are not concerned in any way with the angular size of any object.
What's another word for angular size?
We don't. Why do you want a different word?
So, perspective. That would be perspective, Wiggles.
Oh, that's perspective is like where, like, if I take my webcam to a different perspective, then like you just get a different view of me. But that's not really. That's not angular size. It's two different words.
When the Rubik's Cube is close to the camera. When the Rubik's Cube is close to the camera and has half the frame of the picture, you're saying that's not an effective perspective when it gets further away and only takes up 1/10 of the frame of the camera. That's not perspective, you're saying. That angular...
Yes. Okay, so let's say this then. Let's say that angular size is an effect of perspective.
Yes, and Rayleigh criterion and others are... So can I get a concise statement? As these are perspective effects, do the curve calculators include perspective?
No, because they calculate the height of an object.
So as a concise statement, the curve calculators that are geometric only in nature do not include the effects of perspective.
Yeah, because they're calculating the height of an object.
All right, so it can be used for a viewing function.
Well, it'll tell you, like, because what we do is you got to be like a little bit careful not to get confused. What I use that for is to just a rough
calculate actual heights and all that. But
well, I'm not even really. I don't do anything with the height after I calculate the height. Like, I'll give an example.
But that's literally what it does. That you just admitted to that.
You're not interested in why I made you do that, Wiggles?
Perspective. Just
all I care is whether the calculator tells me whether I would or would not be able to see something that's distant away from me on the surface first. That's all I use.
You can't use it for a viewing function because
I'm not using it to create a picture. I'm not using it to paint any picture. It's not a 3D rendering calculator.
Okay.
Yes or no? Can I see the object? Yes or no?
It is supposed to tell you what you're going to be seeing.
Wiggles said it's being used to see if you can see something. Sorry, Wiggles, just to get you back on track, you said it's being used to see if you can see something at distance.
Yeah, just yes or no is all the only thing I'm asking my calculator.
But, like with your Rubik's Cube at 10,000 miles, your calculator would say it's still visible on a flat surface.
Yeah, what the calculator says is that a photon from the Rubik's Cube, if it traveled in a straight line, would reach my eye. That's all the calculator says.
Yes. Unfortunately, though, at 10,000 miles, the angular size is too small to see. So, surplus to your calculation, there are other things that will definitely make it disappear at distance. Those things being based around perspective. And as you've made clear, Wiggles, those effects are not taken into consideration in your Earth curve calculations. Walter Bislin's does not take into account perspective. It gives you an angular size after the geometric calculations have been applied. And the DizHub, whatever it's called one, does not account for angular size, again, geometric only. And Mick West's calculator does not account for perspective in any way, shape or form. They are geometric only calculations. They all exclude perspective.
Yeah, do you do you know what the purpose of these calculators is, Nathan? Like, I just said it, but I want to know if you know.
I do, yes.
To fool the people to think that they live on a ball, you rat-faced retard.
Okay, well, we're going to ignore that. Nathan, do you know what the purpose of the calculator is?
Yes. The purpose of the calculator is to take the effects of perspective, the very effects that you have conceded are removed and not considered in the geometric only, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator, and convince people that a geometric calculation based on a reification of a sphere model of Earth is actually true, when in fact those effects are perspective and not geometric perspective exclusive Earth curve. That's the point of the calculators.
Incorrect.
I don't think this is going to get anywhere.
Yeah, so to put it concisely, they hijack perspective and call it Earth curvature. That is the point of the Earth curve calculator. The clue is in the title. It's to convince you we have Earth curve.
Yep, that's
no,
the trick.
incorrect.
That's the trick.
Incorrect.
It's that easy.
You want the right answer?
No.
Do you want to know the
That
reason
was the
why I
right
took you
answer.
through that, though? That I assured you, and I wasn't lying, that wasn't to hold you to some gotcha or quote you.
Do you know what the curve calculator, what it's used for? Like what the
So you're not at
ultimate
all
points...
intrigued why I got you to do that? Because I'm not going to suddenly put that in quotes and have you to account on it. Do you want to know why I did that?
Okay, sure, why?
Because there's a guy on your side called Rory who claims perspective is included in the Earth curve calculator and has put out a challenge.
Exactly what he means.
Has put out a challenge for... Yeah, he can't shut up while I'm talking. He's got Tourette's like all of these. Baller affliction. So this guy called Rory has put out a challenge that says, if you can demonstrate that there is no perspective in the Earth curve, then I'll pay up $5,000. Now, a guy called Zachary Zabala, who demonstrated that perspective was absolutely excluded from the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator about 2.5 years ago. And he put it up for Rory, and Rory said, nah. Well, handwave dismissal. And since then, we've had Bob the Science Guy come in and concede that there is no perspective in the calculator, and now yourself, who is, proficient enough to replicate the calculations of your own accord. But there's no perspective.
Correction, that was Bob the Fallacy Guy.
Yes, Bob the Fallacy Guy, that's the one. So,
okay, I'll have to try to find that challenge video and see what that's all about.
Sure. Well, he owes a guy called Zachary Zabala, otherwise known as Good Times for All, £5,000 because he took him up on the challenge.
Okay, I'll have to look into it.
Challenge. Or am I mistaken? I thought he did one as well.
Sounds like fun. I'll have to look into a link for this.
Yeah, I'll be snipping this out, titled Rory owes Zach £5,000. Calculators exclude perspective. Because they do. They're actually not just excluding perspective. It's much worse than that. They're hijacking it so that they can call it curvature.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know that sort of reason. So, but I ask again though, because you did get the question wrong. I'm just trying to help you through, just the math of what this is doing. Like, do you know what the purpose of the curve calculators is? Like,
we just went through this, you buffoon.
You got the wrong answer.
The purpose of the curve calculators?
You're such a retard.
Yeah,
I swear to God. Can we change the topic and get rid of this Wiggles character?
No, Wiggles is ace.
All right, then. Enjoy.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
do you know the purpose of the curve? I was going to answer the purpose of the curve calculator.
Okay, yeah, what is it?
It's to fool people that can't fog a mirror into thinking they live on a sphere. when they hijack and leave out perspective and optics. End of story. Thank you.
Can I ask you how you would include that?
Yeah. Well, actually, that answer was wrong.
It's your calculator.
Yeah.
Nathan, could you please tell him why we don't need to add a perspective calculator? Can you tell him again?
I know why we don't need to. I'm asking you how you would if you think you do need to.
May I ask, what's the biggest reason why you think the Earth is a sphere?
Well, there's like, I don't know how many. There's just a collection of evidence that points to that. Like, I just want the right answer. That's all I want. I don't care what the right answer
the biggest evidence that you have for Earth is a sphere.
Well, I don't know, like, do you want, like, evidence personally I have come up with, or evidence that other people have come up with?
Whichever one.
It's hard to reprogram a brain when it's been...
The evidence I've personally come up with, like, all I've done is show that Earth isn't flat.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if I make some further assumptions that Earth is round, then I can get a good estimate for the radius, but that's assuming Earth is round. I've merely proved it isn't flat.
With assumptions?
How have you actually proven that it's not flat?
I've proven it's not flat.
With the curve calculator?
No, nothing to do with the curve calculator.
So what was the proof that Earth isn't flat?
So, like, light travels pretty much in a straight line, right?
No.
Is that your proof?
No. On this
like,
picture,
I know it bends a little bit.
Sorry.
You don't have to explain. You don't have to explain it to us. We just want to know why.
Sorry, no.
How
Light
did you
doesn't
prove
travel
that
in a
the Earth
straight
isn't
line.
flat? That's all I want. You don't have to
converging.
explain it. I just
It's
want to know.
converging at a midpoint. So I just want to get that in. Wiggles. On this picture, light, like the river I showed you earlier, it's converging to a midpoint. It only appears like straight lines when you draw it in Muppet vision, side on. Then you can draw a line between your eye. Let's say you were on the ground, on your belly, and you're looking at your Rubik's Cube 10,000 miles away. And you draw a straight line from your head, which is about the same height as the Rubik's Cube. You draw a 10,000 mile line, straight line, and you'll find that that line meets the Rubik's Cube. And voila! Geometrically, you can see the Rubik's Cube. Unfortunately, perspective rules. And things converge to a... what's that word? Oh yeah! Vanishing point. Something excluded from your calculator. Something that when you're talking about stuff vanishing, you'd think you'd include a vanishing point in the calculator, but you don't. Geometric only.
Yes,
you can see the Rubik's Cube for 10,000 miles because you're 3 centimeters off the deck and the geometric calculator says a straight line between you and a 3 centimeter Rubik's Cube is perfectly feasible because it ignores perspective. We all know instinctively that you can't see a 3 centimeter Rubik's Cube at 10,000 miles. It's way beyond the diffraction limit. But of course you exclude that because, according to you, it's not needed.
Yeah, well, that's obviously I'm aware of that, and I make sure that if I'm going to do a viewing experiment, that I'm going to pick an object that's big enough for me to see.
Wait a
That's
second,
the other part of
That's
it.
not an experiment. Wait a second. You said experiment?
You got bun in your mouth,
Yeah, like
John. Are you eating toast?
Yeah, I'm eating breakfast. Sorry, man, but I heard experiment. I almost spit it all over my friggin' monitor.
It sounded like it.
I'm sorry, man. That's really rude.
It's okay. No, it was a perfect reaction. Experiment? What did you say?
I just want to know what the biggest reason is that the Earth isn't flat that you've proved, because I want to know. Because if I'm wrong that the Earth is flat, wouldn't you want to tell me, right? So that's what I want to know.
If this sheet of paper is flat, right?
Okay.
Then, well, I can, like, I got it lined up with the webcam lens, then I'm going across a flat surface into my eye. Now, the only way that that surface can block my eye is if it's curved upwards. Right?
Okay, so that's your proof that Earth isn't flat. That's the biggest evidence.
It doesn't need to be difficult.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to know that.
Now the other thing of that is that light does not travel in a straight line all the time. So that gets in the way of that. But I think light travels like pretty much in a straight line.
Eratosthenes, then.
Pretty much.
That's a problem with Eratosthenes, right? Say that again. Light doesn't what?
Well, in a vacuum, unimpeded, light would travel in a straight line.
In a vacuum? Where'd you get a
You
vacuum?
live in a vacuum? You live in a vacuum?
Yeah,
You live in a Dyson?
There is no vacuum. What vacuum? What's this vacuum you speak of?
That's just how light behaves. Like, again, this is a result from science.
Oh, you live in a vacuum?
Oh, I live in a vacuum.
Yeah, where do you live? Do you live in a vacuum? Is that where the light goes through the vacuum before it hits your retina?
It goes through the atmosphere.
Oh, is atmosphere a vacuum? Is atmosphere a vacuum?
No, atmosphere.
Then what are you on about?
Don't jump in yet.
So, like, all I'm saying is, like, light doesn't go in a perfectly straight line, but it goes straight enough that I'm pretty sure that, like, the...
Straight enough.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you can look at other, like, when you do other viewing experiments like that, you can see, like, the half of an object is cut off. That, right? Like, it's the exact same thing as when I look across this flat surface, and then, like, half of my head is cut off. It's because the paper is curved. It's as simple as that. That's all we're doing.
You're literally retarded.
Is that the best you can come up with?
No, I already know. We've been bashing you for an hour and a half.
Is that the best you can say? You've been bashing me for an hour.
Sorry, before the advert starts.
Anybody listening will know that you're retarded.
That was going somewhere and on. So sorry. So you said in a vacuum. Okay, well, the light that reached the ground today didn't go through a vacuum for the most part that I can see between me and the top of the claimed sky vacuum that you think is that vacuum. Well, aside from that, there's light that definitely didn't. So is there a problem with that and straight lines? I don't understand. That was your original point, right?
Yeah, it's just like I did, like, because I do a viewing experiment, and and one day I did have, like, there was a lot of refraction in that, and like I could see the distant island from a lot lower elevation than I usually could, but yeah, like, you can kind of neglect that, like, light doesn't travel in exactly a straight line. It, for the most part, is pretty much straight. Like, it's just a simple experiment, right? And, like, I've never seen a flat Earth.
Wait a second. Did you say experiment?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Did you say experiment? What are the three parts of a scientific experiment?
Like, you do what? You have a hypothesis, you gather some data, see if the data confirms your hypothesis. If not, you come up with a new hypothesis. Like,
no, that's the method. What are the three constituent parts of the hypothesis?
Well, you got an if-then statement, but I mean, there's lots of different, like, scientific experiments you can do. Like,
no, there's only one scientific experiment.
Hold on. Let me get it back on track. No. Number one, it doesn't have to include an if-and-then statement. That's not true. But there's three things that every single experiment will have. Do you know what they are?
Like, I don't know. I just do an experiment. Like, I just like, what are your three things then?
No. That's a question for you. How can you claim an experiment when you don't know what one is?
No, I do know what an experiment is. I've done plenty of experiments, but I'm just wondering what you guys are defining an experiment as.
How do you know what an experiment is when you can't answer what are the three parts of a scientific experiment?
Like, an experiment, you collect data and just see if the data fits your hypothesis.
No, I don't want an example. I want the three parts of a scientific experiment. It's very easy. There's three simple answers.
I don't know, data... Input, output, I don't know.
That's the answer, yes. They're going to laugh at you and wait until you answer their question correctly. But
it's pretty relevant anyway. Brain Dead Kosho. Brain Dead Kosho. Hold on a second. Wait a second, Wiggles. Brain Dead Kosho. He claimed an experiment. I want to know if he knows what that is. Now, is that unreasonable to you?
No, he just answered it.
Tell me what you're seeing the three parts are, then.
Well, data isn't part of it. So he doesn't know
data is
what
part
one
of the
is.
experiment. Your question is like here's the problem. Your question is so vague, I don't really know what it is you're getting at.
I know the answer. Hold on. Anyone else? Just don't give the answer. Does anybody else on the panel know what the three constituent parts of a hypothesis would be? Just don't say the answer. Just say yes or no.
Yes.
I do right here.
That's one. Anybody else?
Yeah, me.
Aben,
Yep.
2. Anybody else?
Yes. Yes.
Yep, that's my warp mind. Yep. Anybody else?
Yes, yes.
So not too vague then, Wiggles. Plenty of people on the panel know the answer.
I'm sure you guys have all like been here. Oh, you're going to end your show now? What?
No, not at all. That's just on the
just
on the B-roll footage. Just ignore that. So
yeah, you're clipping. You're taking me out of context.
no,
Like,
we're asking you what the
this is
3
dirty.
constituent parts of an experiment is because you said you'd got one.
Yeah, because I did.
So tell us what the
I've
3
got an experiment that I
constituent
wanted
parts are.
to.
How do you know?
mention
How
if
do you
that's
know it's an
okay.
experiment? If you don't know what an experiment is, and lots of
I do
people
know
on the
what an
panel
experiment is.
know. Yeah, just let me get to the end of my
Nathan,
sentence.
to be honest,
Wiggles. I realise
he just answered the question.
Did he?
What, James? What?
If you were honest, Nathan, you would know he just answered the question.
He gave us the 3
data,
constituent parts,
including the input and the output.
No.
That's the answer you're looking for in
No,
different
it's not.
words.
So you don't know
Yeah,
either.
didn't I fucking say that?
Wow. So this James guy, Kosho, doesn't know what the 3 constituent parts of an experiment are either.
Yes, it's the variables, the independent variable, the dependent variable, the null variable. Same thing he said in different words.
Nearly.
Nearly there.
Null variable? What the fuck is a
Yeah, the
null
null
variable?
hypothesis, yeah.
Sorry, let's just point out to the audience what a complete fuckwit Kosho is. Yeah, there's no such thing as a null variable, you complete clown. What a complete spastic. Do you want to try again, Kosho? Do you want to try again?
Go ahead and give the answer and then go ahead and prove us wrong then.
No, we're going to make you look like the stupid retard that you are, Kosho, by asking you over and over again to give us that 3rd thing that it needs. You got 2, not bad.
So
Come on, guys, you guys can Google it. You guys can Google it.
Yeah,
And the
really,
null
that's
hypothesis.
it, Ebon. Really rub it in. Did you hear what Ebon just said to you, you dumb fuck?
Yeah, we both said the answers. You're just going to pretend just for your show to make it look like we're not, but
You
we said
didn't
the
say
answers.
the answers.
Okay.
You just said 2.
Yeah, you got 2. Maybe you'd like to start again, and we'll count them off. 1, 2,
Nichols
3.
didn't say any of them. You said 2 of them, and then got the
The
3rd one
independent
wrong.
and the
You don't
dependent
know what an
variable, that's
experiment
2.
is.
The null hypothesis, that's 3.
Yeah, this is great. I love demonstrating what a complete idiot Kosho is, because he is. He's dumb as fuck.
Yep.
Try again, Kosho.
Nathan,
You dumbo.
No, go ahead and prove it, Nathan. Go ahead and make yourself look smart now, right?
Yeah,
I don't
make
need
yourself
to,
look smart
right?
and say it different. Say something different than what we said.
I don't need to, Kosho, right? Because there's a good proportion of my audience that knows I know the answer to this. There's a good proportion of the panel that knows I know this, and I know they know it. But you don't, because you're dumb. And this is just fun, torturing you,
Yeah, that's
because
right,
you're
Nathan.
stupid.
Guys,
Our answer,
guys,
Nathan, okay, so our answer was data, input, and output.
Wrong. Wiggles the fuckwit changes the 2 right answers that were already gotten by Kosho and gives us different answers because he's not paying attention. Yeah, try and
I'm
pay
just calling
attention,
it
Wiggles.
independent.
Don't talk, listen. Kosho got 2 out of 3. So changing 2 of them's not going to help you, right, Wiggles? Try and keep up.
What do you say? So you're saying the 2 answers are independent and dependent variable, right?
Yeah, that's 2.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
said.
3.
Input, output. That's just a different word for the same thing.
No.
Big fucking Zachary.
Okay,
Wait,
so then
it's
what's
over
your
20 kilometers. How much curve do you reckon there is over 20 kilometers?
What's your 3rd thing, Nathan?
What's my 3rd thing? Oh, I know what the 3rd thing is. Yeah, that thing that you don't know, you pair of clowns that believe in a globe. The most stupid people on the panel
You
currently
guys are the guys who
globeheads.
think that you would need perspective and a curve calculator.
That's it.
You
Let's
know that you would
introduce a
fail.
nice red herring. Nice
You know
one,
you would fail
Kosho.
5th grade general science, both of you guys. Do you,
You know
you
what,
understand
John?
that, right?
I almost got distracted away from the point there, didn't you? The fact that Kosho and Wiggles haven't got the vaguest clue what science is.
Yes, I didn't
right,
get
Nathan.
distracted
We don't know
at
what
all.
science
It's,
is.
it's plain
right,
to
Nathan.
see.
I don't think you
So
can
let's
say
get that 3rd thing then. What's that 3rd thing? We've got independent variable, dependent variable. I mean, Ebon
So
already said it
your
to
game
you
is just-
guys while you talk over me. You could have Googled it by
Well, you know-
now.
I Googled 3 parts of an experiment: independent, dependent, control group. There's 5 parts of the experiment.
Wiggles was there.
Oh, he's got
it. Woohoo! Wiggles can Google search after being made look really stupid with the wrong answer 3 times. Well done, Wiggles. So not input output then, you complete fuckwit.
This is another name for the.
Sorry, let's just put Wiggles on screen. Why aren't you smiling, Wiggles? Sorry, not input output wit, then you complete fuckwit. Yeah, there's that smile. Same smile, Wiggles. There it is, the smile of a clown that's pretending.
Okay, you want to do that? Let's play. Let's play.
That wiped the smile right off your face, didn't it, you stupid fuckwit?
What was your third answer that you said, Wiggles?
Don't tell him, Wiggles. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Well, tell
you
him.
Tell us.
Kosho,
you tell us.
I already said that you're going to pretend I didn't say.
Go on then, Kosho. Repeat it.
Right.
Okay, we want to play this game, Nathan. I'm gonna see if.
Don't save him, Wiggles. Man, just play along, Wiggles. This is fun. You've done well, Wiggles. You got the answer. He just didn't listen. He's you 5 minutes ago, not listening. So Wiggles has got all 3, but Kosho didn't listen to the 3rd one.
I'm almost positive I said all 8 things, and you guys are just pretending I didn't say it because you probably muted me a million times. I said it the whole time, the entire time.
So let's hear them again. And no worries, that's very unreasonable to laugh at you, Kosho. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Nathan,
unimpeded, without Wiggles helping him, hopefully. We'll see if Wiggles bails him out, probably. But let's see if you can list off those 3 things. Go on, Kosho, off you go.
Can I jump in?
To teach you what the scientific experiment is again?
Let Kosho.
From the top, you get the observation. Then you got your hypothesis. Then you got your independent variable. And your null hypothesis. Already. Then you test it.
You got him wrong already.
He's got
nothing
wrong
else in there.
He's so dumb. He didn't actually listen to Wiggles give the right answer. Now he's listing off the method, thinking he's got the 3 things.
Yeah, the method, not the experiment. You have the 3 parts of an experiment, Kosho.
Yeah.
Come on, get the Adderall drip
I named
going.
them.
Focus.
I've already named them.
Name them again.
Yeah, I've already named them. If there's something else, then you might as well say it.
Speaking of, what was the independent variable for that stupid black hole picture?
And on that note of complete and total dumbfuckery, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the audience in the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for this exclusive premiere on Nathan Oakley 1980. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe, and check out the Nathan Oakley Flat Earth Debate Forum at nathanoakley.com. Massive thank you to all of today's debating panel. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!